Well, when I left off, I was talking about my family, how we don't do emotions, things like that. Never did. Nothing is ever talked about. If there's pain, oh well. One sec. If you have pain in my family, you gotta bury it just as deep as you possibly can. Sure, you might bring it up every now and again, but nobody really wants to listen. My dad did. My dad listened. My mom, she don't listen. All I get is platitudes about Jesus, crap like that. I get lots and lots of crap about Jesus this, Jesus that. Sure, Jesus is awesome. He does a lot of good things. I believe in it like I do. But I don't think he would want you to just go, it's okay. Jesus will take care of it. I don't have to do anything. That's what Mother does. She never tries anymore. She used to. She gave up after Dad died. There's a part of her that's missing, and she won't deal with it. She's 70-something years old, and she won't deal with it like a child. There's some days it scares me because I know it's going to kill her. She's got it all balled up inside, and then she's having problems with her new husband. I think she's making a mistake. Can't just back out of it. And she said, he won't go to marriage counseling. Ding, 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 ding. Ring the bell. Anyone not willing to go to marriage counseling doesn't want to work on the relationship. I think he's using her. I can't prove it, but I think he's using her. Sweet in my mouth. Hope you think a little. Now, you can't understand what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. My mother has become so dentist-centric that nothing else matters. She forgot how to be a grandmother, and by God, she forgot how to be a mother. I could use my old mom right now. She used to kick me in the butt. Tell me to stop whining and keep going. There's a difference between being emotional and being whiny. I know the difference. Some days like today, I just want to cry, but then I can't. I just want to blow up, but I can't. Not if everybody else isn't. I may have lost Jessa. She said yesterday that she wanted to die. So she could make sure she got the insurance money to the kids. I don't know how to deal with something like that. I've seen friends of mine in a near suicidal state. Never somebody this close. My dad had PTSD pretty bad. I'm sure he wanted to eat a gun or a rifle a few dozen times. What happened in Vietnam. But I never saw it. Old man never dealt with it. On that note, let me talk about a few things. Because it's time. This year, in May, I believe it's the 5th, I will. It will have been, let's see, 2003. 19 years this year since I stepped foot in Iraq. My whole life changed. I spent 15 months over there the first time, 15 months the second time, and 6 months the third time because we got cut off early. I would have spent another full year there. It would have been 15, 15, and 12. But we got cut off. I remember landing there, and I had no idea what I was getting into. I'd never been to the Middle East before. I only read about it in books. And in those days, Camp Ewing, which is right where I was, didn't exist. There was Udari Range, and it was literally just a place where people would drive by and just a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and hone their skills, and that's about it. There's barely anybody there, just enough to maintain it. It was in the middle of nowhere. Sandstorms so big you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. There's a sandstorm one time so big that as I was walking, I walked right into the chow hall. I couldn't see anything because I got caught. I was heading to lunch. I ended up having to go by myself, and I was bow right in the tent. For someone as young as I was, because I was 24, about 24 back then, I saw things that even now don't seem like they're real. Camel spiders. A guy walked up and said, "I'll give 15 camels for one of our female captains." And she was like, "Get out of here before I shoot you." I saw dead bodies on the side of the road. The stench of burning flesh still stings my eyes. Some days I can still see it. I've called her about 50 different names. Erica or Jenny or 60 different names because I can't remember what her real name is. I probably said a different name every time I told somebody about it because I can't remember what her real name was. It was something really long Arabic. But I remember we were several months in. I didn't tell anybody because I was trying to do my own like I usually do. It's a mistake. And there she was, this sweet little girl. She must have been about 11 or 12, if that, probably less, 9 or 10 maybe. She's a darn little thing. She's very sweet. And I can't remember the other soldier's name. Things are still disorganized. We had people showing up there that were going home right in the middle of the tour. A bunch of people did that. Army hadn't figured out yet how to keep people that hadn't been stop loss yet. Or if they had, they didn't use it. I don't know if it was around. So he packed up and he went home. Permanent home, like out of the army home. Went back to Germany and transitioned out. This little girl, sweet as can be. She had latched on him and she was so sad. And I remember walking up to her and said, "Listen, I'll be your friend if you want." And she just gave me a big hug. In that moment, things changed. I'll call her Jenny because that's the name I seem to use the most when I talk about her. Jenny and her family were good people. They were Christians living in Baghdad. I was shocked at how many Christians lived under Saddam. I couldn't believe it. I never heard that on the news. Saddam was evil, but they survived him. They would come in for work. I don't remember what they did. I have no idea what they did, actually. I had so many Iraqis come in, contracting, helping us with local affairs that I don't know what they did. I think he was somewhere in the government. I don't know. It's been too long. They told me, but I forgot. It's been 19 years. But she didn't run up to me all the time. She would give me a hug. Tompkins, how are you? Every time she'd see me. We'd talk. We'd laugh. It wasn't the longest interactions in the world. And then there was Wafa. People like that. Jenny especially. Jenny saved my life. I almost blew my brains out. I was very close to eating my rifle. I said in a story a long time ago, but it's true. It's even more gruesome. If I wasn't going to shoot myself, I was going to slit my wrists. I had a Gerber knife prepared. I even knew where I was going to do it. I had it completely planned out. I was just going to go out where nobody could see me, slit my wrists, lay down, and let myself bleed out. And then the pain would go away. I could forget everything because I'd be dead. It seems silly to say that, because I have so much to live for. But I didn't think I had anything left to live for then, even though I had. Mom and Dad were both still around. I could contact them. I just never felt like anybody understood what I was going through. Wafa also saved my life. She was a very sweet lady. She had to be in her 50s then. She just latched onto me like a mama. She said, Tompkins, you look dirty. Your boots are dirty. Oh, I'll tie your shoe. Wafa was always doing that. She'd come and she'd see me on guard duty. Are you okay? Are you hot? Do you need some water? It was always like that. And then she saw me in Camp Victory and she ran up and gave me a hug. She even cried like she'd seen her son. I didn't see her much after Camp Victory. After they closed down the place where we were, they went somewhere. And I wish I knew where she was. I wish I knew where anybody was. Jenny was supposed to be killed by some Arab guy. I don't know if that's true or not. I only heard it secondhand from somebody else that was in the same area. Not exactly the same area, but in the city. A friend of mine. He couldn't be sure either. Just when I described it to him, he said he'd seen a little girl like that. He heard she got killed, and one day she stopped coming around. Could have fled the country for all I know. Hell, she could be right here in Colorado Springs, and I would never know. I could have actually even talked to her. I don't know. That's a fine thing. She was so little. And such a cute kid. She could be a full-grown adult. Well, she is a full-grown adult by now. It's been 19 years. She'll be in her 30s. I wouldn't know her. She wouldn't know me. I felt so alone when I got back. The only one that had any idea what I was going through was my dad. When I had my PTSD episode in front of him after we watched that movie in Iraq, I don't know where that came from. I never felt any of that before. I just, bam, I flipped. When he saw that, things changed. He realized that I'd been affected, and he started telling me stories about Vietnam I'd never heard before. Like, he and his buddy were up on top of a tin roof. They were checking out the enemy because they were bored, and his buddy goes, "Hey, we can see them. Don't you think they can see us?" And they're, "Oh shit!" So they got on top of the roof and they jumped down real quick. Nobody shot at them. It's just more like a mutual, like, "Oh, I see you. I see you." Did that a few times with the enemy. War is a fun business. People that fight it are never the same. I don't claim that I had anything fancy. I was no Navy SEAL, none of that. I was just some supply guy. You know, I didn't see action all the time. I saw my fair share, but I didn't see, the things other people did. I saw a lot of things that I wish I hadn't. Dead bodies. That smell, it never goes away. Whenever I smell something bad, my first thought is something's dead in here. Right here, something died. Just because I saw death. Anyone that's seen war is changed by it. I'm no different, no better than thousands of vets that saw war. Nor do I have any fancy stories to tell. I got in an ambush one time, and that was about it. What would you do? I never read that in a book or anything, because no one would be interested. It's not an interesting story, nor is it unique, at least for that time. Probably now, because there's a lot less of that, unless you're infantry on the front line, really, or you're in an outpost. I wasn't in an outpost. Right smack dab in the middle of Baghdad. You're in that menorah, minaret, whatever the heck they call it. Call it every morning. I swore to myself one day I was going to go up there and put Metallica on. A lot of people said that. We never did. We were stupid not to do that. It was a funny thought in our mind. We should go up there and put Metallica on, man. Yeah. Never happened. Almost had to kill an 18-year-old kid, though. Guy picks up a Molotov cocktail and get ready to throw it at me. I got bead on him. He sees me, he drops that thing, and he takes off running. I said, well, he didn't die today. But you could have. And I would have taken it, and I would have been glad to take it. After all I saw over there, seeing my country these days tear itself apart, it's affecting me more than I tell people. What the hell did I fight for? A bunch of lazy fucks that don't want to do anything? Tell people, oh no, I don't have the red cell phone. I wanted the red one, the $7,000 one. You got me the $70 one that works just as good. Oh no, my life is over. It's the pit thing. Pieces of shit. Anyways, I don't know what tribulation is. So tribulation is not a word, I don't think. Who knows? I'm terrible at English. My dad. I've already mentioned them a couple times in here, but you never realize until somebody's gone how much they affect your life. My father, my rock, my example, and I tried to be just like him. Not in the military, but in life. I never could be, though. He never wanted me to be. He told me I used to pray that you were not like me. I ended up being like him in a lot of ways. Much for this, I got red eyes. This stupid dry eye thing. It's a killer. Got the LASIK surgery back in 2010 to fix my eyes. The only thing it did was mess up my eyes because they're red all the time. It's gonna look weird, but bear with me. If anybody actually watches this, I doubt anybody will. But I don't care if anybody does. My story isn't special. I should make a podcast called Ramble Man, because I've just talked about nothing. So I blink a lot when I look at material, not because I put the eye drops in, so I can't really see. My dad had problems with alcohol. Always did. He should have never had champagne a couple of times that I saw him do it with Mom. Before Mom was goofy, she'd get all giggly. My dad, there was something different about him with alcohol. I noticed it even when I was a kid. I think my mom too. They drank and they smoked, and Mom and I has COPD from it. My father, he was everything I ever wanted to be. He was a warrior hero. He was decorated. He came back alive. He had an interesting story. He's everything I ever wanted to be. Until the day came when I realized that Dad didn't want to be any of that. He told me he didn't even know why they were taking his picture when they did. They made it a big deal. I'll tell you what happened. My dad did a lot of hush-hush stuff during the Vietnam War. He crossed over right over the border in North Vietnam. Was not supposed to be there, supposedly. We went there anyways. Skirted the damn trees we had. The enemy was coming, so we had to take him out. And he was on a mission where he had to cross over there. I don't know everything. I know it was a recon mission. Parts of it are still not known to me. It's classified or just they were never written down. Who knows? I may never know. Important thing is, Dad was over there, got shot down, and him and one other dude, 3-4 days, I think it was a while. They fought, and they held off like 100 some odd dudes, killed like 12 or 13 of them, or something like that. I can't remember the exact details of that part. I'd have to look in the citation, which I promised to my daughter. Dad survived. He did what he had to do to survive. I know he had nightmares about having to take lives. That was not Dad's way. He was a good man. He didn't like taking life, and he never thought he would in intelligence and Air Force. But when push came to shove, my dad stood up and was counted along with the other guy whose name I think is in the citation. I don't remember. Dad nearly scared the pants out of Mom. She knew something was wrong. She tried to call and they wouldn't tell her anything, and then he shows back up. She goes, "What happened?" The only thing I could say was, "I can't talk about it." As a matter of fact, it was years before he could talk about it. So secret he was doing. He got shot down and he survived. He always said that God had to be watching out for him, and that was start of my dad started turned towards religion. I think because it dawned on him that somebody had to be watching out for him. It took a little bit longer, but Dad got it. and matured big time in really good church. But he didn't use it for a crutch. He knew there was a real world out there. Never sheltered us from it. I sheltered myself. I was very introverted, and I still am. I can't help it. I just am who I am. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few days, if anything. Remember me as I am right now. Because things could change and I won't be the same, and I don't know. Stupid thing gets me that noise. Jessa and the kids, if you decide to watch this, know that your dad was going through some stuff. Hopefully we can watch it together and realize that was going through some stuff and try to get it out. I love you all. If I finally screwed up for the last time and I made you guys hate me, then I will have to live with that, won't I? I love you. I love you, my heart. Maybe someday you forgive me. We'll see.